keys are to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time. Welcome to the Daily Show. We got a lot of news coming out of 49ers land. More defensive backs dealing with the 19. It's coming after them. They got 19 problems, and it's not Deebo Samuel.
No.
It's the Coof.
It's the Coof.
Yeah.
It's totally the Coof, Ant. Listen, we've been trying to come up with a nice nickname. Coof seems to work. I like it, Ant. But listen, you got Ambry, Thomas, and Deommodore, Lenoir now on the Coof list, and dealing with the Coof. Not great. You don't want to see it. It's not ideal. However, both guys still eligible in theory to play Sunday, so that's technically good news. There's that. There's that situation going on for the 49ers. So you're not in the position where you're necessarily in a bad spot, but you're not in a great spot. None of them are going to be able to practice pretty much for the majority of the week. They just got to get through their 5 days. They got to be asymptomatic, and as long as they're going to be fine. That's what we believe. Because there's only one player on the 49ers who has not gotten vaccinated, so you don't necessarily know which player it is, what the status is. So it's a 99% chance that all of them just need to be asymptomatic by Sunday.
Yeah, we have no idea who it's gonna, who it is that's unvaccinated. And to be honest with you, at this point, I don't really care.
Just get on the field.
I just want all of the players to be able to be on the field.
Be on the field.
And I mean, this is part of the reason that Kyle Shanahan went to Zoom meetings, because he did not want this sort of situation to happen where it completely decimates one entire room, and it has taken the entire room pretty much out. Jimmy Ward, the only safety so far, so that is something interesting and to keep an eye on. But this is at least good news that there is a possibility they could be coming back, because if we were talking about all of them going to be out, this game against the Los Angeles Rams would be very hard to win without the talent that they are missing currently at practice. The only good news that the 49ers have going for them, this is week 18. They've been doing this for a long time. They don't need the practice. These guys don't need the practice to be ready to play the Los Angeles Rams. They understand the concepts, the scheme and what they're going to be asked and tasked to do with DeMeco Ryans, and they can learn all those things through meetings at home. They can still do meetings. So this is at least a little glimmer of hope, a silver lining, as it would be, Alex, that they can continue to do this, and that this is at the end of the season and not the beginning. And this is a very pivotal game, so we need all these guys and all hands on deck. But it appears that all hands could be on deck, so at least we got that going.
True, Ant. Very true. Including Jimmy's thumb could be on deck as well, speaking of hands. But I don't want to dive away from this cornerback issue right now too much at the moment. Emmanuel Mosley is practicing. You have DeQuez Denard, who's just going to be getting extra snaps now at practice, and so I guess, that signing ended up being more important than we realized. And Norman. And Norman. I know 49ers fans don't want to hear that, but you do have Josh Norman available and doing things, and he's been more than serviceable for the 49ers and what he's done this year and, the impact he's had. And he was the starting quarterback last time when the Niners won a football game. So, I mean, it's not like this is the end of the world.
No, and I mean, week 8, week 9, if you would have heard that our starting cornerbacks going into a football game were Norman, Mosley, and Denard, would you have really been fooled or thought that wasn't a possibility?
No.
Yeah, I mean, really, right? Like, that's kind of how it was. You had, Dre Kirkpatrick, just substitute Kirkpatrick for, Denard, and that's pretty much the same situation that you're in. So, yeah, this has kind of been the way that the 49ers cornerback room has worked. We don't know if there's going to be any effect of the 19 on any of the Rams. So far,
the Coupe just needs to stop.
Yeah, so
just
far,
stay where you are.
I wish it would just go away and stay away from the NFL playoffs and the situations, but hopefully all these players are going to be back. The 49ers have done a really good job until last week. They had Mitch Wisnowski. This week they had the cornerback room. Hopefully it doesn't affect any other room, and they really should think about keeping especially the quarterbacks all away from each other.
Accurate. You don't need to be spending time with each other this week.
No.
Nope. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't
isolation.
Do it. Isolation. That's what it should be. Everyone focus on you. Stay healthy. The less time you can be around guys right now, the better. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going around, and the coof, the cold, the flu. I mean, everything is going around right now.
It's that season.
Down where we're at right now, there's some sort of viral infection that's non-coof related as well that's going around as well. I mean, it's not fun. So stay healthy, stay safe. Keep yourself protected, gentlemen, please. For the love of God, do that. And now let's move on to all hands on deck, including potentially Jimmy's thumb ant, because Jimmy Garoppolo was throwing passes at practice, and some people are throwing their arms up in celebration. Other people are flipping tables and smashing mugs against the wall because they don't want this guy on the football field, and they want him, to basically just chop the thumb off and don't let him throw a football ever again. But look, Jimmy Garoppolo is out there throwing passes. We saw a video of him in warm-ups throwing some stuff. I think it was courtesy of Lombardi who put it out there.
Barrows.
It was Barrows? Okay, yeah. So Barrows had one. I know Lombardi had one as well, in which George Kittle's catching some balls from him and commenting, Ant, while the camera's running on, oh, man, what a pretty ball that is there. What a nice throw there by Jimmy. Jimmy, I know, is saying, that he's basically trying to find his throw again right now with this issue. He also said that it hurts like F all when he throws a football, and I'm stunned. I'm stunned that he has pain when he throws a football, seeing as he has a grade 3 strain of his thumb, his UCL muscle.
This is exactly what Kyle Shanahan was talking about. It's about pain tolerance. Jimmy Garoppolo has to be able to deal with the pain. And if you're not able to deal with the pain, then you're going to change the way that you throw. You're going to, go ahead and leave the thumb a little less, grip, and you're going to flutter the ball out there. The ball that you saw get thrown to George Kittle in that video was a nice pass. George Kittle wasn't lying. It was a nice tight spiral that got to where it needed to get, and he got there on a line. It wasn't floated or anything like that, which is something I was concerned about. It's something I've been talking in the comment section with a lot of the cutback crew is how the ball comes out of his hand was going to determine whether I believed he was going to be able to start. And then they also talked about the fact that on Tuesday he had a nice throwing session, that he went out there and worked out on Tuesday, and then in fact he was looked really good. And Wednesday when he woke up, it hurt really bad and it was stiff. But the fact that he went out there again in limited practice, got some limited reps throwing the football on Wednesday, means he can do it in back-to-back days. I think that's a good sign for the 49ers.
100%.
I don't expect him to throw after Friday. So if he throws in Friday's practice, they'll take Saturday practice. Of course, he won't throw during Saturday practice. That way he's ready to go on Sunday. But this is looking like it's, pointing at least towards Jimmy Garoppolo having a potential start coming on Sunday. I'm sure Trey Lance is going to be preparing. He's going to be taking all the reps that Jimmy Garoppolo is not taking, and he's going to be ready just in case Jimmy, struggles or can't go during the middle of that football game. He needs to come in relief. And luckily we got a reliever that's as good as Trey Lance in that situation. But I think they're going to roll with Jimmy minus, a huge setback in the next couple of days. They're going to roll with Jimmy, and then Trey Lance will be there in case they need him.
That's what it should be. I mean, that's in theory what it should be. I expect this to be a week in which we actually could see a situation where both guys get utilized, in which you can get Jimmy Garoppolo off the field at times, maybe on drives, because maybe monitoring him drive to drive, throw to throw, how he's feeling. And you may have a situation where a drive comes out and Kyle's like, you know what, let's let you rest here a little bit and let's see, based on what I'm seeing here, I think this is an opportunity where I can go out there and maybe take advantage of some things with Trey Lance. Maybe that's a week. Maybe this is the week where we actually get to see a little bit of a Shanahan plan, not out of like Kyle actually wanting to do it, but more out of necessity of keeping Jimmy healthy and doing what's best for the team. Because Jimmy talked about that as well. It's, it's not just also about me being able to go out and do what I need to do and, going through the rehab process and getting myself to a point where I can go out there and play, but also about doing what's best for the team. If it's not me, then it's not me. If I can't be healthy and can't do it, then I shouldn't be out there. He's going through all of these steps, right? This rehab process, these throwing sessions, all of this to really find out, hey, can I do this? Can I go out there and push myself to this limit? Because this is a limit. You are pushing yourself past a breaking point is what Jimmy Garoppolo is doing, because he's playing with an injury that is going to cause him severe amounts of pain, discomfort, and it's not going to be easy to play through.
No, it's not. And sometimes people can handle pain. There are people that have high pain tolerance that are able to handle pain, move it out of their mind and be able to concentrate on the task at hand. However, if that pain enters your mind and you're not able to do the task at hand, if you're not able to make those reads because you're thinking about the pain, or you're not able to get the ball out because you're trying to alter the way you throw because of the pain, those are all going to be situations that aren't going to be good for the 49ers, because Jimmy Garoppolo will either turn over the ball or he will hold on to the football.
Accurate.
And the thing that Jimmy Garoppolo has an advantage at right now is getting rid of the ball quickly. If he's no longer able to get rid of the ball quickly, you might turn to Trey Lance, because then he can at least create with his feet. He can extend plays. He can go ahead and make throws down the field. So it's a different dynamic than Jimmy Garoppolo. Both quarterbacks, I think, have avenues to go ahead and be successful against this Rams team and win. However, I believe that they want to roll with Jimmy Garoppolo right now. I think they believe Trey Lance is the future, but Jimmy Garoppolo is right now. And Trey Lance does not need reps in this football game for next year. The 49ers need the best quarterback that's able to get it done this game to win, whether that's Jimmy Garoppolo or Trey Lance. That's not any decision of anyone to make for next year. That's a decision about right now, this playoffs, and Kyle Shanahan's going to put the player out there he believes gives him the best opportunity to win, because getting to the playoffs is huge for this team. You know, what the outcome is in the playoffs is irrelevant at this point. The key is just getting there and putting yourself in an opportunity to get yourself all the way to the dance.
100%. Get yourself to the dance. Put yourself in a position to win in the dance. But in order to come out on top, right, to be the king at the dance, Ant, you have to be in. You have to be inside. You have to be able to walk through those front doors without anyone saying, hey, no, sorry, you're not allowed, right? You don't get to be a part of this. And the best way, the easiest way to do that is to win Sunday. Not have to rely on the Saints losing to the Falcons. Just win. You win. You don't have to worry about anything else. You're in, and now it's just a matter of how did everything else play out and who are you facing, right? Who are you dancing off with in that opening round of the dance off there in the playoffs? So we'll see what happens with that. But the 49ers have to be able to take care of business with that. And you got to find out if Jimmy can be that guy or if you need to roll with Trey. But no matter what happens, this is going to get stretched out to the very last minute. No decision is being made tomorrow. No decision is being made today. This is being made probably Saturday or Sunday in terms of whether or not Jimmy's going. Kyle probably has an idea in his mind of what it is, what the plan is, but no official decision or word is going to come until closer to game time. And like you said, Trey's going to be taking his reps all week whenever Jimmy is not, and Jimmy is going to be getting some breaks and rest this week because you don't want to overdo it. You just want to make sure that he's capable of going when you need him to go. But they also opened the practice window. The Niners did. They opened the practice window for Emmanuel Mosley, Mohammed Sanu, and Tavon Wilson, which is great news and great signs for the 49ers. All three guys' practice windows are open. All three guys getting in some practice in some way, shape, or form, whether that was limited or full participation. Look, I'm really excited about this. I'm really excited about, number one, Tavon Wilson being back in the fold. That is a huge plus. I mean, that's a veteran presence back there in the secondary in case Jimmy Ward can't go. I would much prefer Jimmy Ward, but having Tavon Wilson makes that better. And then the receiver room just took a big jump up, man. Mohammed Sanu is going to help in a big way, whether it's blocking, whether that's a possession guy out there. Him and Juwan Jennings, who's been coming on as well as of late. This now adds more depth to the wide receiver room.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those cases where now Travis Benjamin is the sixth receiver. And River Craycraft is more than likely going to be gone. And Tavon Wilson will take over that job on special teams, and he'll do a bang-up job, I'm sure. But Tavon Wilson was a very key factor in special teams early on in the season, and they've been missing him. So I think that he's a nice addition there. Mohammed Sanu is a great veteran receiver who knows where to be. He could be very big for a Trey Lance, for instance, because he knows where to nestle down in zones. He knows where to sit down, so he can find open voids where Trey can get in the football. I mean, say for Jimmy Garoppolo. But what you're going to have now is you're going to have your two dynamic receivers in Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel, and then you're going to have two guys that can go make critical third down catches that can move the sticks, and Mohammed Sanu, and Juwan Jennings. And I think that's a good situation for the Niners. You've got a very good wide receiver group of that. It's not like the greatest thing of all time, but the top two guys are very good, and then the other guys are getting better and better each week. Mohammed Sanu, you just know what you're going to get from him. So I like that they're coming back. Of course, I love that Mosley is coming back.
It's huge.
He's fundamentally changing that defense. You don't have to roll, safeties to both sides. You don't have to run the two deep zone the entire game. You can go ahead and, run a cover 3 or run a cover 1 and send a safety over the top the other way, because he can handle one-on-one matchups. He can win in press coverage, press man coverage. So he does change the defense fundamentally. But these are some great moves. This is some great news. And I mean, that's not including all the guys that have been coming back that didn't have to have a practice window open, but that are, readily available. And the 49ers are going to have some decisions to make, when they activate guys who are going to be gone from this roster, because they are going to have to make decisions here in the coming days.
They really are. Limited participants in practice were Jimmy Garoppolo, Dre Greenlaw, Talanoa Hufanga.
Welcome back.
Maurice Hurst. Welcome back. And then Jaquiski Tartt dealing with the shoulder. DNPs were Azeez Al-Shaair, Nick Bosa resting, Alex Mack resting, Elijah Mitchell and Trent Williams. Trent Williams still dealing with the elbow. Elijah Mitchell and Kyle Shanahan clarified it's still the same thing that's been bothering him. And he said, I guess we're listing the injury as a knee, is what he said. He doesn't seem too concerned about Elijah Mitchell. He doesn't seem too concerned about Trent Williams. Are you?
No. I think because both of them played the entirety of the last game, neither one of them came out, that I think that they're both going to play. I think because the stakes are so high, you're going to go out there and you're going to get through it. Trent Williams has been playing every single week this year. He's earned every single dollar that he got in those contracts. And I don't think anything's going to stop Trent Williams from getting out there and trying to get to the playoffs. As he's about winning football games. He's a leader on this team, and he's going to want to go out there and help. And I think he will. And I think Elijah Mitchell, he's just going to have to learn to play through it right now. And when you get into these situations in the game, as long as it's not something that can get worse, you go out there and you push through it. If his performance last week was with a nagging knee injury, I can only imagine what he's going to be when he's not, when he's not hurt and he's all the way healthy. So I actually look for him to be a little bit better, but they're going to manage him and make sure that he's healthy as this week progresses. That way he's ready to go against the Rams.
I think that's the case as well. I don't think I'm too concerned quite yet with Elijah Mitchell. Trent Williams is almost no concern. I don't see, barring his arm falling off, I don't see there's any way that Trent Williams isn't going to go out there and gut this thing out. I think Trent Williams knows what's at stake. I know he's not going to want to be a reason why this team doesn't perform. He is going to be whatever he needs to be for this team to operate at a high level. And we've already seen an 85% Trent Williams is still one of the best players in all of football. We've seen that. We've seen that with a bum ankle against the Arizona Cardinals, having lots of success with a young quarterback out there as well in Trey Lance playing that game. So yeah, I'm not too worried about Trent. Not super worried about Elijah Mitchell. If we get towards Friday, Saturday, he's still not practicing and they're saying, it's actually getting a little worse. It's flaring up. The swelling's still there heavy. Then I'll get worried. Until that time, there's nothing to be too concerned about on that front with this situation. And it's just nice to hear all those names coming back. Nice to hear about Maurice Hurst being back in the fold. Mm-hmm. Love to see Talanoa Hufanga back into this group as well because of the different things he does, not only on special teams, but with the defense and packages where they want to bring him in, bring those three safeties on the field and possibly blitz. And I imagine they're still going to want to do that even with Dre Greenlaw back because you're going to want to protect him. You're not going to want to throw him out to the fire and say, here you go, kid, go play 90% of snaps. You've been hurt basically the whole season outside of week 1. You came back on time, on schedule, and still ended up having to leave early because you re-aggravated the injury. They're going to protect him as much as they possibly can because you want to have him for the playoff run. So yeah, it's nice having Talanoa back as well. It's going to add a lot of different things and opportunities for D'Amico Ryans. But there was also some interesting comments from Kyle Shanahan talking about one George Kittle, who plays at 110% all day, every day, never once backing down. It just doesn't have an off switch, right? It just doesn't have one. There was a video that came out on the sideline of Kittle after one of the scoring plays, basically plowing through Shanahan, and basically people were asking, Kyle, are you worried about Kittle and his level of enthusiasm? Does it ever scare you that he said do something to you? And while Kyle didn't really address that, he did say, I would rather Trey avoid Kittle after plays like that. I appreciate the encouragement, but Kittle, for some reason, can't control his aggressiveness. Trey definitely can handle it better than me, but I run from Kittle after good things because he will not change how he hits people no matter what. What a quote.
Yeah.
What a quote.
This is kind of the tongue-in-cheek thing, but he's right. George Kittle, celebrations are very physical. He gets very exuberant and excited.
He's just a bully.
Yeah, he's a big bully, and I did see him get very, huge celebrations with Trey Lance. And Trey's a big guy. He can handle it. But, yeah, I love that Kyle Shanahan said, hey, stay away from George Kittle. Because Kittle, his celebration, he doesn't know how to tone it down. And he doesn't. He does everything full go. Pedal to the metal, and that's why he's a good leader to have on your football team because he will run through a brick wall. He won't just tell you to run through a brick wall. He'll go do it first, and he'll lead the way. Those are the kind of guys you need on your football team, and that's why he's impactful, and that's the tone for this 49ers offense. That's why at the beginning of the year, it wasn't Jimmy Garoppolo that was sitting there talking with Matt Mayoko. It was George Kittle and Fred Warner because they are the tone setters for the offense and defense, and they set the mindset. And this is something you have to have on your football team, and I think you're going to see a lot of very physical celebrations from Trey Lance and George Kittle for years to come.
Not too physical, just slightly physical, right? You don't want to see
made of glass.
You don't want to. You're gonna tell me you want George Kittle going up to Trey and being like, "You dog!" Wah! And a nice little headbutt, and then Trey. We pull. What is that? What is that movie? Why am I blanking on this now? Oh gosh, I am blanking on that. Cutback Crew. If you know what movie I'm talking about with the headbutt and knocking their own teammates out, you leave it in the comment section below right now and laugh at me into oblivion. But look, I did actually have a question for you. How impactful do you think adding Dre Greenlaw into this game is going to be for Fred Warner? Because Cam Akers back at practice, Rams fans making a very big deal out of this, and that Cam Akers is back. How Cam Akers is back off a torn Achilles, I'll never be able to officially know. And I don't want to say anything about how I think he may be back because I don't want to put that on anybody. But it's a very interesting situation. Him coming back as soon as he's come back from this injury. This being, I think a lot of Rams fans feel like this could be a thing where it's a big boost to the run game because now you have a three-man field once Darrell Henderson gets healthy with Sony Michel and at least that 1-2 combination with those two. How important is it going to be now for Dre Greenlaw being back in the lineup and Fred basically freeing him up for them to be hopefully the best versions of themselves against this run game?
Well, I mean, the good news for the 49ers is they're playing against a running back in Cam Akers who wants to run the outside zone. Mm-hmm. And these linebackers run sideline to sideline better than anyone, whether that's Dre Greenlaw, Fred Warner, or Marcel Harris. We know Aziz ain't going to be playing. All those guys can run. That's not really a worry. As far as a guy coming back, this isn't like a dynamic, big physical running back that can give the 49ers linebackers problems. Where it does free Fred up is you can put Fred wherever you want and know that Dre can handle the middle. Dre can go, he can stay in the box or he can go out there and handle those bubble screens and things that right now Fred has been handling. And so it does give you some freedom and flexibility to use Fred however you deem possible. But I think that Cam Akers, he could be dynamic in this game. I've seen him play a lot of times. He does have explosiveness. How much explosiveness is he still going to have with the Achilles injury? That's going to be a good question. But I think that if this was a big bruising back that was going to be able to run the middle against the 49ers, I'd be more concerned than a guy who's willing to run outside zone because I think the 49ers defensive line is built to move. They're built for penetration, but can also blow up an outside zone. So I think they can get after it, and I think they can actually take advantage of the Rams' run offense because I don't think the Rams linemen are good enough to handle these defensive linemen and how fast they penetrate and how quick they are with their arm over moves. So, I mean, this is one of those things where, it sounds good for the Rams that Akers is coming back, but it might be a week too early. I mean, there could be a situation where in the playoffs, Cam Akers has himself a nice game, but he's not exactly, proven to be the most dominant running back either. He was finding it was a hard time for him to find his way last season, and coming off an Achilles, I can't expect him to take a huge jump forward just coming off.
No, typically coming off the Achilles, it takes a full year before you get it back anywhere close to being back to a semblance of what you were. So I don't expect him to have as big of an impact as some Rams fans are I'm hearing or saying. But listen, at the end of the day, it is a nice addition for them because you add another aspect to your offense, which is always a positive thing. If you're Sean McVay, adding more tools and weapons is a good thing. But listen, I have faith. I have faith in the Niners. I have faith in this front. The addition of Dre Greenlaw is a big jump. What do you think is a bigger addition for this team this week? Is it Dre Greenlaw, Emmanuel Mosley, Maurice Hurst the potentiality there, or Mohammed Sanu?
I think this is Emmanuel Mosley. I think Mosley's the most important return of the especially for the defense.
Absolutely,
because it's going to change the way that they're able to run coverages. The fact that you don't have to protect both corners, but you can leave a guy on an island on occasion, definitely changes the way that D'Amico Ryans is going to be able to be aggressive and such. I think in a perfect world, if D'Amico Ryans could sit back in his two deep zone and stop this run with his front seven, he would do that in every single game because you see that like the Houston Texans struggled. The difference is Davis Mills is not Matthew Stafford. Brandon Cooks is Brandon Cooks, but he was alone by himself. Nico Collins and those guys weren't going to be able to get it done. Where Cooper Kupp has Odell Beckham Jr. and Van Jefferson, so it's a different dynamic. But it also plays into a Dre Greenlaw. That's why I think he's the second biggest return. I think it goes Mosley, then Dre Greenlaw because he can help stop that run with that front seven. We all know if you can stop a run game with a front seven, that means that you can definitely protect yourself at the back end.
1,000%. That's why for me it's in that same category. That's the reason I asked. I figured you and I were on the same page that Mosley's return is way more impactful right now just because of the variety of different ways that the defense can now be schemed up. But Dre Greenlaw is a huge addition. Don't get it mixed up, Cutback Crew. It is just as big. It's just you can do more things disguise-wise with your coverages and things of that nature with Mosley than you can by adding Dre back onto the field. That's just the reality of the situation. But look, there's a lot of questions this week. There's a lot of answers that we're going to be waiting on from Jimmy Garoppolo's thumb. Is Trey Lance going to be starting his second consecutive game? Can the Niners win against the Rams with a quarterback that isn't Jimmy Garoppolo, Ant? Lots of questions against the Sean McVay-led team, and lots of questions about where the 49ers are going to be. Will we be in the playoffs? And are the Saints going to drop the ball and just let us walk in regardless? Or are the Niners going to have to take this thing and basically control their own destiny from start to finish in this Sunday game against the Rams? Cutback crew, though, we want to hear from you, so make sure you're commenting down below about all of this. You worried about Ambry and Deommodore Lenoir on the virus list, the COOF list? Or are you more worried about Jimmy's thumb? A, because, is Jimmy going to be healthy enough to play? Or B, because you don't want Jimmy playing at all. You don't want him on the football field throwing footballs. You don't think he throws a good ball and now he has a bad thumb? How could he pop? We want to hear from you. Comment down below right now. And while you're commenting, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Become the newest member of the Cutback crew.
Yeah, I mean, this is already a playoff game. You have to win to get into the playoffs. That's how you have to treat it. That's the way this team is treating it. Kyle Shanahan is going to go leave no stone unturned. That means he's going to play everyone that he needs to play. He's going to bring back everyone he needs to bring back, because you don't want to leave any bullets in the chamber. You don't want to be like, oh, well, next week we could possibly have this guy back. There is no next week if you don't win. So you go out there and you go get it done. And we're not leaving any stone unturned either, because the Friday Frenzy is going to be coming up on Friday, and there's going to be a full docket of great content, whether that is the Madden simulation. Of course, the game preview show that comes out at 11 a.m. on Friday. At 2 p.m., you can get, What's Good with Jay in the Bay, where he goes over his 5 big things. And they're always good things that the 49ers need to do to be able to beat the team they're going to play, of course, in this case, the Rams. And then, of course, that night, Alex, at 5:30, you got Know Your Opponent, where we're going to get into some of the all-22 of the Los Angeles Rams, break it down and see the areas the 49ers need to attack and where the weaknesses are. That maybe the Rams can't get it done against the Niners for a certain reason. All that's going to be into it, and we break it all down. The Friday Frenzy is one of the great days that we have in content over here on YouTube.
100% is, man. Content is phenomenal. It is spot on, and it all leads into the game plan video on Saturdays, which is very in-depth, looking at what the Niners are going to do to attack the Rams and how the Rams may try and attack the Niners as well, and really just kind of playing off of that whole thing and get an idea of what the game plan for the 49ers will look like. How are they going to go about trying to execute and win this football game Sunday? And that way you can watch that Saturday, tune in Sunday for the game, and feel comfortable when you're seeing the 49ers doing exactly what the 49ers Cutback said they were going to do. And then you're not surprised when they get a big fat W, and you're not surprised when they're sitting there in the playoffs, because that's what we're expecting. That's what we're hoping for. And Cutback crew, let us know if you're as confident as we are about our 49ers making the playoffs. But until the next one, which is going to be tonight, correct? Tonight we got the live stream. Oh my goodness. We got a live stream we got to get ready for, Ant. We'll see you for the live stream, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. And until then, stay safe.
Remember, the right way
is always the 49ers way.